I have 3 children. The youngest 2 are twins. And as they were approaching their last year of high school, I started thinking about what my life was going to look like after that. And I decided that I really wasn't done with the whole parenting thing.
Our children were actually a little older when Christy and I were married. And I think for me especially, it was almost graduated. You know, they're in middle school, high school, college, a few more years down the road, it'll just be Christy and I just to, get on a motorcycle and just ride off to the sunset.
Well, I always thought I would work way past retirement. I thought that when I retired, maybe at 70, I would go see the world. And then all of a sudden I decided, maybe that's not exactly what I need to do with my life. And things changed after I said yes to Restore.
15 years ago, we read John Piper's Don't Waste Your Life. One of the first stories that he tells in there is about the couple that retires, I believe in their 50s, and goes to Florida and does seashells and plays softball and things like that. And his point was, it wasn't a very good use of their time in view of eternity. We are not done at age 55 doing God's work.
A scriptural mandate, if you will, that God tells us that we don't have the right to cross to the other side of the road and wait for someone else to do it. So I felt like, meager as my abilities and what I have to offer might be, if I can help make one life different, then that's what I am supposed to do.
The calling that Christy had was probably longer lived than myself, because I can be very selfish. And so when discussions would go that way, I would just pray about it. But for me, again, selfishly, let's not pray too hard. I'm not ready for this sort of thing to happen. All the reasons that I could come up with for not fostering were about inconvenience. They weren't about living the purpose that God would have for us in fostering. So you put self aside and you focus on the right thing.
We had 5 adopted children from China and have gone through that process. Some of them are special needs. And actually we started working for Restore Network as volunteers, and we met Ashley at the Christmas party, I think was when she met all my boys, and out of the blue one day she calls and says, "Hey, God placed you on my heart to find a place for this little guy." This little guy had similar, same really, physical needs that our boys had, and so we've been down that road, and God didn't really call us into foster care per se, but to this specific child.
That there are so many children that need our help. And if we can take care of 1 or 2 or 3, it makes an impact.
Your life will obviously look way different than you thought when you go down this road. That's not a bad thing. It's just a different thing, and it's a better thing. Like, it's a concept I think people have such a hard time figuring out, that we want comfort and we want ease and we want to to avoid hard. And so but people don't even realize, like, the best stuff is in hard.
I don't think what I expected was to feel such love and compassion for the biological parents. All I could feel was the sadness for this mom that didn't want this. This isn't what she planned. Nobody goes into childbirth and pregnancy and expects it to turn out this way.
People often come up to me and say, "Wow, that's great. It really takes a special person. You have a big heart." And I would say that I disagree. I don't think that it's a special person. I would say that it's a willing person.
I'm going to be a better dad to anybody who God puts in our family now, because I'm wiser. I've made a bunch of mistakes. I've done a lot of things right. I've learned a lot of things, and I can pour that in.
I just think maybe those of us who are a little bit older and have the ability to look back on things, it gives you a do-over.
At this stage in my life, I think that you've kind of been there, done that with a lot of things that, you know, when you're young, you have goals, you have ambitions, you want to conquer the world, you know, all of these things that you want to achieve. But at the end of much of that, you find out that self-indulgence is really overrated.
So I just turned 58 on Monday. If you look at that, I'm in my last half, probably my last quarter of my life, because we don't know how long we're going to be here. So for us in our later years, let's say, man, I want to go out strong. I mean, I want to hear those words, well done, good and faithful servant.
God used a lot of people that were really, really old to do really, really miraculous things.